For 100 years, oil was the blood of the world. Wars were fought for it. Empires were built on it. But the age of oil is over. Look at Google. Look at Amazon. They aren't drilling for black gold. They are spending billions buying power plants. Electricity is the next oil. And the war for it? It has already begun. This is why you are hearing about Project Stargate. It's not just a fancy name for AI servers. It is a desperate mobilization, just like in 1957, when Sputnik crossed the sky. America is panicked. Back then, they raced for rockets. Today, they are racing for the grid. And there is one critical metal standing between them and victory. November 2022. ChatGPT didn't just launch, it landed like a bomb. This was the modern Sputnik moment. Washington felt it immediately, a cold strategic shiver down the spine. The reaction? Panic. The strategy? Total dominance. Massive models, massive compute. Leave the rivals in the dust. But do not be fooled by the friendly chatbot interface. Apollo wasn't really about moon rocks. And AI? This is not civilian tech. At its core, this is military. Think about it. The rockets of the 1960 seconds, they were never just about the moon. They were a test, proof that they could deliver a nuclear warhead anywhere on Earth. And today, these massive AI data centers, do you really think they are spending billions just to help you write emails? No, they are building the brains for drone swarms, for cyber warfare, for automated intelligence. Whoever controls this compute doesn't just win the game, they gain the power of a dimensional strike. So the giant awakes. America has triggered its whole of government protocol, hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars, flooding the system, trying to buy back the glory of the past. But be careful. The script might look the same, but the stage has changed completely. And it is these variations that make today's game far more dangerous than the Cold War ever was. The Cold War? That was simple. Two parallel worlds, them and us. America could close its doors and build everything alone. But today, the supply chains are not walls. They are vines, twisted together in a deadly embrace. And here lies the great strategic paradox. America is building Stargate to outrun China. But to make it work, the high-voltage transformers, the copper cables, the solar panels, even the deep processing of critical silver, they are all begging for capacity from the very rival they are trying to defeat. You want to cut ties? You want to run? But suddenly you realize the hands that feed your power are the same hands holding your throat. Look back at the 1960 seconds. America was a titan, the world's bank. The coffers were full of real gold. But today, the titan is hollow, the greatest debtor in history, a manufacturing shell. Where is the money for Project Stargate coming from? Not from taxes, not from profit. It is built on debt, on a bubble, on printing press magic. They are overdrafting the very soul of the dollar. This isn't just an investment. They are going all in, on a bluff. The old space race was fought on blackboards. It was about aerodynamics, calculus, pure science. But this AI war, it has crashed hard into the physical world. The bottleneck is no longer code. It is heat. It is power. It is the grid. We are done comparing elegant formulas. Now, It is about who can mobilize more copper, who can hoard more silver. This is not a debate anymore. This is a naked, brutal, industrial war of attrition. Have you felt the shift in the wind? Yesterday, Silicon Valley was obsessed with code, with algorithms, with architecture. But today, look closer. Microsoft is not just writing software. They are buying nuclear power plants. NVIDIA is not just designing chips. They are engineering liquid cooling systems. What is this telling us? The battleground has moved. We have moved from the soft power of models to the hard bone of physical infrastructure. The logic now is brutally simple. He who holds the chips, he who owns the power, controls the throne. Look at the Magnificent Seven. Look at their capital expenditure. It is absolute madness. Stop calling this corporate investment. When you burn cash at this scale, it is not a business plan. It is a national narrative. It is a military-grade arms race. Critics are whispering, the scaling laws are dead. The bubble is bursting. Maybe they are right, but they are missing the point. Look at the American balance sheet. Look at the mountain of debt. America is drowning. They don't just want AI. They desperately need a story, a high-growth fairy tale to sell to the world. They need to say, ignore the debt. Look here, I still hold the keys to the future. So, ask yourself, is AI a bubble? It doesn't matter. Because right now, it is the only story that sells. It is not just a tech revolution. It has become a ventilator, a life support machine, keeping the debt cycle alive. This explains the madness. Even if the script is flawed, even if the risks are sky high, they have to keep the cameras rolling on Project Stargate. Because the alternative? The alternative is cardiac arrest. We have entered the era of brute force compute. But here is the hard truth. The ultimate limit on American AI is not how good your Python code is. It is physics. Two ruthless variables, energy and heat, to feed this beast. Coal is not enough. You have to overhaul the rotting power grid. And you have to blanket the earth with oceans of solar panels. And here enters the player everyone ignored. Silver. Why silver? Because physics doesn't negotiate. It is the most conductive metal on the periodic table, bar none. You want those oceans of solar panels? The veins carrying that energy are silver. You want to upgrade the grid? Every high-voltage switch, every critical contact depends on silver. Without it, your data centers are just piles of scrap metal. Project Stargate is just a toy with no batteries. If America is truly going all in on AI, the demand for silver will not be linear. It will be strategic, explosive, exponential. And now, for the final twist, the ultimate irony. We said America is doing all this to leave China in the dust. But reality? Reality just delivered a stinging slap to the face. You want data centers? You need transformers? You need copper cables? You want an energy grid? You need solar panels. And who dominates the supply of every single one of these items? China. The road to American AI supremacy is paved with Chinese bricks. This is the ultimate decoupling paradox. The harder America pushes for Project Stargate, the more desperate they become to secure the raw materials. What does this mean for tomorrow? It means we are about to witness a frenzy. Not a frenzy of selling, a frenzy of stockpiling. Strategic assets, critical minerals, and absolutely silver. So, do yourself a favor. Stop staring at the Nvidia stock chart. When two superpowers start fighting for the physical world, it is the silent metals that will make the loudest noise. The war of compute, power, and silver, it has only just begun. Let's look at the data. And trust me, these numbers are terrifying. OpenAI and Microsoft. Project Stargate. Their target power for a single site, 5 gigawatts. Do you understand what that means? A normal data center today runs on a few megawatts. 5 gigawatts is not a building. That is the total power consumption of a medium-sized city. To feed this kind of power into one single room, the US power grid needs more than an upgrade. It needs massive, open-heart surgery on a scale we haven't seen since World War II. So, how do you generate 5 gigawatts? Fast? Nuclear? Forget it. That takes 10 years to build. In this race, 10 years is an eternity. You are already dead. Natural gas? Huh? The environmentalists are watching. The regulators are blocking. You will never get the permits in time. For a must-win mission like Stargate, there is only one rapid cure. Solar plus storage. Why? Because it is modular. You can deploy it like Lego blocks. Fast, scalable, anywhere. But the choke point of solar? All roads lead back to silver. First, let's ground this in reality. Photovoltaic silver paste. It is already the king of industrial silver use. It devours 15 to 20% of the entire global supply every single year. But now comes the horror story. If America forces energy localization for AI, if they add 50 to 100 gigawatts of AI-exclusive solar capacity, we did the math. This creates a vacuum, a structural deficit of 20 to 30 million ounces, created out of thin air. And the market? The market is not ready for this. You think that's it? You think solar is the only story? You are being naive. Generating power is one thing. Moving it is another. Data centers like Stargate, they have zero tolerance for voltage fluctuations. Zero. To guarantee this kind of freakish stability, you need specific hardware, high voltage switches, circuit breakers, contactors. And inside them, the critical contact points, they must be silver-based, like silver cadmium oxide. Copper melts. Gold is too soft. Only silver survives the arc. No silver, no stability, no AI. Why? It always comes back to physics. Silver is the best conductor, irreplaceable. Now, follow the money. America is pouring hundreds of billions into this infrastructure. And here is the metric you need to know. 15 to 20% of that cash pile goes directly to electrical equipment. What does this mean for silver demand? For decades, this sector was lukewarm, steady, boring. But now, it is shifting gears from lukewarm to a sudden, violent, exponential jump. Now, zoom in, past the grid, past the cables, into the heart of the beast. Those trillion-dollar GPUs? They are not just chips. They are power-hungry monsters running at blazing temperatures. To keep them from melting, to connect the logic, you need the microscopic veins of the chip, sintering paste, wire bonding, high-purity industrial silver. Skeptics will say, but it's just a tiny amount per chip. True, But we are not talking about a laptop. We are talking about millions. Upon millions of these monsters, a drop of water is small, but enough drops make a tsunami. Look at the full picture. Power generation, sucking in silver. Power, transmission, devouring, silver. Compute chips, demanding silver. This is not a coincidence. This is a perfect storm. The harder America pushes for AI supremacy, the more insane its thirst becomes. Stop thinking of silver as just jewelry or coins. It has morphed. It is now a strategic restrictive resource, and we are standing on the edge. Unprecedented. Joule resonance. So, what is this Joule resonance? Resonance number one, financial survival. Where is the trillion-dollar budget coming from? It is printed. It is debt. This guarantees the slow, painful death of the dollar's buying power. And silver? The historic poor man's gold? When paper money floods the streets, silver is your ark. Resonance number two, industrial starvation. In the past, silver rallied on hype, but not today. AI infrastructure is eating real bars. Tens of millions of ounces gone. So here comes the double critical hit. The left hook, currency devaluation. The right hook, inventory depletion. A setup like this, you might only see it once in a lifetime. And finally, let's talk about the year 2025. It is not just a number on a calendar. It is the watershed. From 2025 onwards, the American playbook has changed. Watch the mechanism closely. Step 1. Pump the stock market to siphon the world's wealth. Step 2. Use tech giant capital expenditure to forcibly transmute this ethereal paper money into solid, physical compute. Their logic is violent. It's called scaling laws. It says, I don't care about efficiency, even for a tiny, incremental gain. In intelligence, I am willing to burn exponential energy. I will burn the grid. I will burn the cash. I will burn the silver, because they know the truth. Whoever cracks AGI first builds the final moat. This is not investment. This is a gamble. A trillion-dollar gamble, played with US national debt as the chips, all to secure one thing, tech hegemony. But look at the poker table. No matter who the dealer is, no matter how the rules change, there is one thing you must keep throwing into the pot: energy, and the metal that carries it. Silver, it is the fuel of the wager.
But wait! Hold your horses, brothers. Do not sell your house to go all in on silver just yet. The real world is dynamic. It is anti-fragile. There is a famous saying in Wall Street: the best cure for high prices is high prices. If silver really shoots to the moon, the market's invisible hand will slap it back down with two ruthless moves. Move 1, demand destruction. Move 2, supply creation. We must listen to the bears. This is how a mature investor thinks. First off, let's pop the balloon. This whole AI relies on solar thesis. It is fundamentally flawed. Solar has a fatal weakness: intermittency. No sun at night. Clouds kill output. But a monster like Stargate, demanding 5 gigawatts, it needs 24/7 non-stop base load power. You think you can run a $1 trillion infrastructure on solar plus batteries? It is uneconomic. It is unsafe. Let's be adults here. The real saviors are not silver panels. They are natural gas and nuclear. Don't forget where we are. America is the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. Facing an energy crisis, The fastest fix is not scavenging for silver to build panels. It is simply uncorking the gas. Slash the regulations. Burn the gas. Problem solved. And look at the tech giants. They know better. Microsoft is rebooting 3 Mile Island. Google and Amazon are betting on SMRs. Their ultimate bet is nuclear, not solar. So, here is the hard truth. If gas and nuclear fill the gap, your entire silver demand thesis, it snaps, right? In half. Secondly, be realistic. The industry is not sentimental. It is stingy. If Project Stargate pushes silver to $50 or higher, do you think solar manufacturers will just sit there and bleed? Absolutely not. They will flip the switch. They will pivot R&D straight to copper. The tech is already here. Copper electroplating. Why aren't they using it now? Because it's a bit of a hassle. But at $50 an ounce, that hassle becomes their survival strategy. Silver is expensive. Copper is cheap. Money always wins. But once silver hits that tipping point, the math stops working. And copper substitution, it goes live. Massively. Remember 2011? High prices didn't create a boom. They murdered demand. Never underestimate an engineer who is told to save the boss money. And finally, stop obsessing over China. America has a backyard that you are ignoring. Mexico, the world's largest producer. We don't need to cross the ocean. The silver is right next door. Mexico is the world's #1 producer. And it's right next door, under the framework of USMCA, NAFTA. If America really gets desperate, we can lock down that capacity. From Mexico, from Peru, priority access. And regarding the refining technology, come on, it's not building an atomic bomb. It is basic chemistry. If the US government throws enough subsidies at it, we can build silver refineries in Texas or Sonora in 2 or 3 years, tops. So, where is your crisis now? Finally, let's address the debt. You say AI is a cover-up? You have the causality backwards. AI is actually lowering the cost of coding, of R&D. It is boosting total factor productivity. That is not a bubble, that is real money. As long as US tech leads the world, answer me this. Where else can global capital go? Europe is stagnant. Japan is in debt. Emerging markets are risky. The money has to come here, to the Magnificent Seven. Capital inflows support the dollar. AI profits cover the interest. If this logic holds, America doesn't need to loot resources. We just need to keep winning. So friends, what is the verdict? Project Stargate is a real ambition. But the silver squeeze, that is a bet, with a massive window of risk. If you bet too early, or if the technology pivots too fast, you might see a brief spike, followed by the tragedy of 2011. A long, painful fall from the summit. In this rhyme and variation of history, we must see the grand narrative. But we must also fear the market's backlash. This is our deep deduction for today. Whether you believe resources are king, or you believe in tech, deflation. The year 2025, it is destined to be unforgettable.